Good morning from New York City, the land of a lot of weird noises. So I apologize for the audio today because it's actually it's very interesting to have been in Tokyo, which is a very, very quiet, orderly city that really, when you're walking out on the street, there's very, very rarely any noise at all. To come to New York where it's kind of back to just like honking and loud noises and construction everywhere, it's definitely quite a contrast, to say the very least. But we're here. We have a bit of an ambitious day today. We are going to the Rockettes show at 2, and then we're going to some sort of strange dinner party experience thing, and then we're going to a Knicks game. So very exciting day here in New York. It's also a very nice day. Yesterday it was pouring, and it's I guess a bit of a sad thing to show up to a city and be a tourist and then just it starts raining and pouring. So today what I want to talk about is becoming a successful entrepreneur and some of the things that I've learned along the way that will hopefully help you in your journey becoming successful, going full-time, and or if you are already full-time, maybe just kind of readjusting a couple things to make your life a little bit better. So number one, above all else, I am always optimizing my life for time freedom. So what I want to be doing is essentially, like, it does sound kind of like the dream. You want to be doing as little work for as much money as possible, and you want to be doing something that's a little bit scalable. So the challenge with photography is that you are only one human, and if you are a one-person studio, it becomes a little bit of a challenge to do something like that you really do have to set your life and your behind the scenes up in order to create something that makes your life easy. So for instance, when I am photographing weddings, I have everything outsourced. So when I come home from the wedding day, I have somebody that's going to be editing my videos, and I have somebody that's going to be editing my photos. I take final delivery, put it all together, and get it out to my clients, my couples, and I just kind of have that final control that I walk in for the last 10% to tweak anything that needs to be tweaked before we export the final video, before I export the final photos. And that is kind of my wedding process. So it's very, very minimal. I've also removed things like I don't do albums anymore because they just were kind of a clog in the machine, that they would always come in around like November, and they would really kind of upset my process, that like around this time of the year that I'd be delivering usually like 10, 15, 20 albums depending on the year. And it was really, really challenging that this is the time that I kind of want to decompress from a 70 wedding plus season. And even though I do have one more wedding this year, I feel like I am a pretty relaxed person. I've delivered everything to date. So the last wedding that I shot was almost a month ago now. So I've really kind of also compressed everything into the summer season. So by shooting so much volume, I really do kind of target it over the summer. And I do as much as I can to be able to shoot Friday, Saturday, Sunday weddings. And even though it might seem like it's busy at the time, I would rather work harder in short little bursts like that and have a lot of time off over the winter. So maybe think of whatever you are able to do to kind of make everything that you're doing in specific areas. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're just only making money in the summer. That means you're still taking down payments, you're still doing meetings for weddings, but you are able to just kind of work hard when you're working and take time off when you're taking time off. This overall does help a lot with finding a work-life balance, which will be a forever work in progress as somebody that works for yourself. It is so hard to basically have an infinite task list, a task sheet of things that I could be doing, that I could be making, that projects that I could be starting that would be great for the future of my business, but then also realizing that I do need to take time off to spend time with Lindsay and to spend time with my family, and I can't just be working all the time. This is something that is really kind of ingrained in our culture, especially if you follow any of kind of the what I call the entrepreneur, like kind of thought leaders, I guess, that they are kind of all about just like working really, really excessively hard and outworking everybody in order to become successful. And while in the beginning there is an element of that, try not to make it a core piece of your life that you do become somebody that is working like 16 hours a day every single day. Try to take time for yourself. The next point I have is to really focus on not getting stressed out about things that you cannot control. The biggest one for this, I think, is money. So as an entrepreneur, it is very challenging. It takes a couple of years to actually figure out how to kind of structure your year, because it is such a strange thing that you can just wake up tomorrow and you can book like 5 photography jobs and then not book anything else for the next month. So you have to know that you're charging enough if only those jobs come in that you can at least pay rent, and like pay for your basic life necessities. This, again, is quite a balancing act, and I would say that it took me several years to figure it out. I feel like I'm still figuring it out, and it's been a very, very long time of me being in business, but it is a thing that is possible for you to do. And the easiest way I would say is just to make sure that you're tracking all of your income so that you know kind of how much your money you're making, and you know when final payments are coming in, and you know when your jobs tend to stack up in the season. So for instance, for me, for weddings, I know that a lot of my first payments, which means that I'm booking a lot of weddings usually in September and usually in January. So I know to kind of expect that on a small scale every single year. And if you are kind of expecting the minimum, if you do any better than that, your brain kind of feels a little bit better and relaxes a little bit. And beyond that, I'm just collecting final payments actually in the summer for weddings typically. Money overall is super random, so the more that you can kind of disconnect yourself from making money be the thing that you believe makes your business successful, the sooner you'll be happy with your actual photography. So start doing jobs for yourself and doing things that make you happy within photography, and the money will come. Just don't stress yourself out on making money the scale of which you measure your success. The last point I'm going to cover here today is a little bit about, story, which is what we've been talking about this week already, and really embedding yourself, your story into your community. I think that if you are, regardless of like what your aspirations are as a photographer, even if you want to be a travel photographer or somebody else that does things out there in the world, it is so important to get established in your own local community first. We did this a number of ways, and I continue to do this. I have lots of projects coming up this year that will continue to embed me in the community, as well as just do things that I want to be doing, to meet the people that I want to be meeting and working with them and creating work for them, for those thought leaders that will hopefully be telling their friends about me. And even if they don't tell their friends, that the fact that they're posting their images, their videos on like Facebook and Instagram and tagging me in them does a lot of good things for me, as well as just really kind of becoming part of the community that you want to become part of within your community. So if there's a couple people that you really do want to become friends with, or business friends with, which is kind of an interesting dynamic, I guess, on a relationship where you're kind of business colleagues or working for each other, with each other first, and then a friendship kind of forms from that. I think that that is an important thing that you're able to do kind of in this day and age. And most ambitious people, they would much rather be hanging out with somebody that is kind of this business relationship rather than just a straight regular friendship. Obviously, the friendship can exist within the business relationship, but if money and success and future growth of their company come from hanging out with you, you're doing a lot of good things. Above all else, it's kind of the same way that I always talk about if you want to be a preferred vendor at a venue, that you do have to be booking work for that venue. And while that might seem like a hard task, same kind of goes with other relationships, that if you can be booking work, you can be booking jobs for other people in your community, there is a pretty good chance that they are going to look very positively upon you because of that. And maybe the last point, if you can be doing work with people from your community out in the world, if you can be traveling with them and creating cool work, doing cool things with them, the more kind of points of contact from these people out in the world coming back into your local community. And if you're part of that group, it does do very good things. It might not be the direct marketing plan. You might not be making money off of that immediately, but it is something that other people will notice, other thought leaders will notice, that if you're creating cool work with cool people and having a good time, that in the future, your name's going to come up over and over and over again. So those are my thoughts for today, the basic core principles, I guess, for becoming a successful entrepreneur and actually making yourself happy in your life, which is more important than making money overall. And it takes a long time to actually understand that and believe that. And I think that hopefully you get there at some point in your lifetime, because everything is a work in progress, and that's why entrepreneurship is fun, because you're constantly building and you're on this journey. So if you can find other people to go along with you on this journey, you do have a lot more fun in general. I think when it comes down to it, I want to be creating cool things with cool people, and that's what makes me happy. So I've been fortunate enough to find that. So if that helps you at all, points you in the right direction and gets you started maybe on a project that you weren't going to do, I think that today's podcast has been successful. So thanks so much for listening. We are going to go do New York things now, see the Rockettes, see a tree, and it's going to be real busy. So see you tomorrow.